Hey everybody, welcome back to the AWI review. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing video on the new M4A2 Sherman Mark III. This is from Rubicon Models, and I'm very happy to get my hands on this. As always, I really enjoy the level of detail with Rubicon kits, so let's just go right ahead and start looking at these sprues. So as always with Rubicon kits, the first thing you're going to want to do is remove the construction leaflet, and inside the construction leaflet will be a decal sheet. Just be aware, when you purchase this kit, the M4A2 was a Lend-Lease tank, so you're not going to see a lot of US markings on here. Actually, I don't think there are any US markings on here. It's mostly Russia, British, French, and Polish, I want to say, and maybe a few other nationalities on here as well. So this kit you're not going to really use for your US troops, so just keep that in mind. So let's get to the sprues now. So perhaps one of the greatest things about Rubicon kits is the amount of options that you get. So at the end of the day, you're only going to be able to build one full tank. However, with all the sprue options that you have, you can build a tank that's highly specific to what you're looking for your particular diorama or wargaming needs. So this M4A2 kit comes with two different hull variants. It comes with two different turrets. It comes with a plethora of gun barrels for those turrets. So you're not limited with the way that you want to put this kit together. In fact, the options are sometimes overwhelming, which is why I recommend that you definitely look at that leaflet before you proceed with any sort of building, because you're going to end up being halfway through the kit and realized, you know, hey, this is not the tank that I wanted to build, but it's too late because I've already glued all this together. So definitely look at that leaflet before you move on. Now you're going to notice that half of the sprue is missing. Well, okay, so I know I just got done saying that this is a Lend-Lease tank and you're not going to want to use it for your US forces because it was primarily used by the Commonwealth and the Russians, blah, blah, blah. Well, I have to do something with this tank. I didn't want it just sitting around taking up space or collecting dust because I don't have a Commonwealth army. Now, I do have a co-belligerent Italian force, but I don't want to use the Sherman to supplement that. I want to use either Italian tanks or British tanks for that, because that was, I believe, what they used. So I really thought to myself, man, that looks a lot like an M4A3. So in my case, I'm breaking my own rule and I'm using the large hatch hull for a M4A3 with a 105 millimeter gun, and the small hatch, well, I looked at it and I was like, man, that looks a lot like an M4 from Warlord Games. So what I did was I clipped off the hull, and because you only get one set of tracks, I couldn't really create a whole new tank with it. So I decided to create this, which is representing a dug-in tank. And I'll do a separate video on this as well, because a lot of people have leftover sprues from Rubicon, and I'm sure that they don't know what to do with them. And I decided that instead of wrecking a tank, which is one option, is you can create wreckage or vehicle wreckage or whatever, that I would create a little terrain piece out of it. And I think it looks pretty good compared to, well, what the other option was, which is just leaving it in the box or throwing it out. So for those of you who want to get the full bang for your buck, this is one way you could go. So I have turned this into a M4 tank that I'm using, and I know it's, again, not 100% matched to the actual M4 tank. It's a little different, but it suits my purposes, and it makes a nice terrain piece, and it represents a dug-in tank for those scenarios that call for it in bolt action. So as I was saying, with this kit, you do get a large variety of options here, and so you get a low bustle or a high bustle turret, and then you get your different options for gun barrels. So you get your 105, your 75. What's interesting is this is, I believe, there's nothing in the leaflet about these two down here, and this looks like a 17-pounder, and this one looks like a flamer, coaxial flamer that you would put on a turret. So my thought is, and I don't see that it's offered anywhere on this particular sprue, but it does look like you get the option to add that coaxial flamer or a 17-pounder if you wanted it. However, it is not in the instructions for this kit. So my guess is this is a universal M4 turret kit that you would get for another set. So maybe the M4A3, I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. So that's something that I'll have to investigate on another time. Now, that said, you do get your two options for your 50 cal, which is kind of nice. You get a Wargamer option and a diorama option. One is sturdier for wargaming and handling, which is very nice because I can't tell you how many times I have accidentally snapped off a Rubicon machine gun barrel because I was handling it a little too hastily, and they're not really made for wargaming. At least they weren't in the past. So hopefully we'll have better luck with these thicker barrels here on the machine gun. So this is the turret options that you get. It's very nice. And you also get some options on the tread and suspension sprue. For example, the hedgerow cutter down here and the stowage compartment for the back of the tank. And your tank commander up here. By the way, you do get a sprue of crew as well. And I did want to show this off because I'm really glad to see Rubicon is taking a serious approach to the crew. To be honest with you, I'm getting a little bored with Warlord Game being the only real provider of decent looking tank crew for US vehicles. It's a little annoying because you only really get like 4 options with that, and they don't fit every tank, and they don't fit every tank well. So for me, having other options like this really goes a long way, and they're pretty generic. Now, obviously, you wouldn't use the ones with the pockets for US tank crewmen, and the ones with the jackets are probably meant to be for other Commonwealth or Soviet forces. However, in this instance, you could really use them as US if you wanted to because they're generic enough for that. So I do really appreciate Rubicon taking a serious look at crew, and I'm looking forward to more crew options in the future. So that said, this is a really good example of some of the options that you get. Even on a sprue as generic as this, there are still options available if you wanted to go that extra step. These are the last 2 sprues that come in this kit. Now, one is for skirts and the front of the hull here, and then on the top here, it looks like you get 2 different types of rivets. One is historically accurate. I think the other one is more for wargaming. It just sort of makes them easier to paint up, it looks like, in my guess. And then finally, this is the back, and then the rear skirts, I believe. And so yeah, this is just, it's a good kit. Like all Rubicon kits, they're really made for people that have an interest in the hobby itself, that is of modeling. You have a lot of customization options. So anyway, guys, that's it for this unboxing video. I will be doing some more videos, more unboxing videos, hopefully this week, so keep an eye out for those. And until next time, catch you all later.